with Jim Korn, and Salming stopped that. Huber knocks down the clearing pass. Fires it right back in and went off Maloney. Back out center ice. Now Willie Huber took a run at at McKechnie, and then Maloney came over from the blind side after Willie Huber. And so the two of them have a grip on one another. Huber and Maloney. And then Walt McKechnie with Dale McCourt holding him off, took a weak swing.
Maloney may have bit off more than he would want here. Willie Huber, even though Maloney was the one that jumped on his back, Willie Huber has him straightened around now. If Willie could get that one hand, he's a left-hander. If he could get that left hand free.
Now the two linesmen move in. Willie lost the helmet, as you can see, and that sometimes is kind of dangerous when you're swinging away at a guy that's wearing a helmet. And that's where the hands get broken. I asked Tommy Bergman about it.
I think Dan Maloney was happy that this just turned out to be more a wrestling match than a boxing match, because Willie Huber can throw him. 6'5", weighs about 215 pounds.
Walt McKechnie now is being held off by Dale McCourt, making quite a move in toward Jim Korn is giving words to McKechnie, and Salming is holding him off. Walt McKechnie is not a fighter.
No,
not in the least little bit. But while there are a lot of players in between the two of them,
Now Maloney wants to get a hold of Korn, and he reached over and did.
Mike Foligno holding off Burrows in pretty good shape. Jim Korn and Maloney are threatening to go at one another now, and the smallest linesman in the league, Willard Norris, in between them.
See, Maloney left the fight with Huber and went right over and got in with Korn.
Jim Korn can handle himself pretty well, too, and Huber wants to get at McKechnie by the looks of it. That would be a mismatch. Now the linesman, Leon Stickle, has quite a hold on Willie Huber. McKechnie is not mouthing off right now like he was before when everybody was between them. So sticks and gloves all over the ice. Really, we haven't had what you could call a fight, just a little bit of wrestling between Maloney and Huber. Willie Huber still wants to get at Maloney.
He wants to get somebody.
It's Maloney.
And there's 1 minute and 2 seconds to go in the game. Walter McKechnie is doing a little talking now, but he's well held. He's separated.
Jim Korn took exception to the fact that McKechnie was actually taking and I think it was a very weak swing in the direction of Huber, while Huber and Maloney had each other tied up. They're still doing a lot of talking down there, Jim Korn and McKechnie. Korn is really having words with him. Huber and Maloney are heading over toward the penalty box with the two linesmen in between them. I don't think either one of them wants to back up from it. They'll be heading in, I would think, to their dressing rooms. Maloney's still acting like he wants to pull away. Now Willie Huber will be escorted toward the end of the rink, the corridor that leads to the Detroit dressing room. Dan Maloney will head down the corridor into his dressing room.
Korn and Salming are having quite a talk over right on center ice. Willie Huber is finally going to leave the ice. It all started right over in front of the penalty bench.
Well, it started with Huber taking a run at McKechnie. Right. They've had a little thing going.
There's a play coming up along the boards. There's McKechnie coming in to make a play along the boards, and Willie Huber run him into the wall. That's the start, right there. Then Maloney come in and grab Huber. It's going to be interesting as to the penalties, because there were several players involved in little wrestling matches. Korn was tied up for quite a while. Mike Foligno was wrestling or holding players, trying to keep them from getting into it.
Huber, I think, will get an additional 2 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if Detroit plays short a man.
It all goes back, Bruce, after Foligno had scored his penalty shot to put the Wings within 2, the chance that Errol Thompson had when he took the puck away from Hotham coming around behind the Toronto net. He was directly, within 5 or 6 feet of the goal crease. He had time, but he must have felt that someone would be there to check him, and he turned around and shot before he really took a good look and he put it right back into Harrison. Otherwise, we'd have had a one-goal game with a minute or with maybe a minute and 45 to 2 minutes to go.
Or that bad pass deep in the Detroit end that ended up on Butler's stick.
Oh, the Butler goal was a bad goal. That was the case where Reed Larson come from behind his net, and Reed has that burst of speed where he cuts in low and comes straight up center ice. And as he did that, he lost possession of the puck. Butler picked it up and scored to put them right back two ahead.
Billy Hewitt, Brian McFarlane. They have watched the action here.
2 minutes for slashing, 5 minutes for fighting, and a 10-minute misconduct. Detroit, a 2-minute bench minor. Toronto penalty, number 9, Dan Maloney, 5 minutes for fighting and a 10-minute misconduct. Toronto, a 2-minute bench minor. Time 18:50.
So Detroit will play short a man. Willie Huber 2 for slashing, 5 for fighting, 10-minute misconduct. Maloney has 5 for fighting and a 10-minute misconduct.
There's Floyd Smith talking things over with his club. He has put in a few nervous minutes here with the wings bouncing back and getting with him too.
Borje Salming is out having words with the referee for some reason, as you see
Bobby
Crom and Dale McCourt talking. Referee Ron Harris explaining things to Mr. Salming. Oh, Maloney now has another 2-minute penalty off for roughing, which means that's going to even him up.
That's probably what all the talk has been about.
Yep.
Sittler is following referee Ron Harris all the way down in the Detroit zone, trying to figure that out. It all started with the check of Huber into McKechnie, right into the wall between the Toronto blue line and center ice.
McKechnie went off for slashing Huber earlier in the period at 9:29, so they've had a little thing going. Now the referee has come over to the score, and I think we may have a timeout, if that's what it's all about. Or else, no, I'm just going to wait and see. Danny Bolduc is going into the penalty box, and so too is a Washington player, Anderson.
A Toronto player.
I'm sorry, a Toronto player, Anderson. So they will serve the 2 minutes, but there's only a minute and 2 seconds remaining in the game, so.
Toronto's penalty will be served by number 10, John Anderson.
Jimmy Rutherford is going over to the Detroit bench. So the Red Wings have lifted their goaltender with a minute and 2 seconds to play, though the face-off is right at the Detroit line.
Well, this is a gamble. What if they score another one? What's the difference if it's 6-4 or 7-4?